Practice is the price paid to gain mastery. Whatever you do in life, you get to practice it. You have to walk behind the scenes several hours, several hundreds of thousands of hours behind the scene before you can come out to show the skills to the general public. That's practice. Practice is what you see when you see the superstars and everyone yelling and shouting to appreciate the superstar. Practice is what you have seen. You see, practice is doing something regularly to improve yourself on a particular skill. It is doing something regularly to improve yourself on a particular thing. And whatever you have done, whatever you practice over times becomes a new habit. It's funny, but if you keep doing a thing over and over and over, it becomes a new habit. Now, there is something about practice. The more you keep practicing what you are learning, the faster you will become competent and skilled in that area. If you are learning a new thing, you keep practicing it, the faster you become competent and confident and more skilled in that area. Now, there is this word called inadequacy. Inadequacy is this feeling of I'm not good enough that is receding in every human. But here's what practice does. The more you practice, the more confidence you gain. And the more confidence you gain, the more you are capable of doing something. And the more you are capable of doing that thing, the more you overcome that inadequacy of I am not good enough, or I am not good enough at the moment. Now think of a child learning to walk. The first step wasn't the perfect one. It wasn't the second step, it wasn't the third step, it wasn't the fourth step. This child falls, gets up on his feet and keep learning to stand. He does that over time. Sometimes he endangers himself. But after a while, he begins to gain mastery. He starts to learn to walk. He begins to gain confidence more in standing. He begins to move that step a little. Now that is what it takes to practice and become confident in certain skills. That child today you see can run everywhere was once unable to do those things. It was a result of practice over times until it became a mastery. This happens to everyone, every area of our skills. If you were selling a product, you don't just bring your product to someone that you want to sell. You would have practiced several ways of how to go about it, what to say, how to say it, how to answer the objectives. These are practice you should learn to do to make your sales a worthwhile. In developing yourself, what is that big thing that you need to learn to do all the time, to keep on doing, to improve on, to become more in that area? You see, one of the limitations we have is when we cannot practice, we are doomed to have this language, this statement, inadequacy statement, I'm not good enough. And this has a way of hitting everyone and tearing you down. In most cases, most people give up before they even try at all. They already made the conclusion within themselves that they can't do this. So things about trying or practicing is not even welcome. Meanwhile, on the other side, successful people still face the same conditions of challenges. They fail, they fall the first time they learn to do something. But after a while, they learn to practice and practice. They go back to rehearse. They ask questions. Why did I fail in this particular thing? They rehearse over time. Perhaps if you are in a business or you are in an organization, there are a few questions you should learn to ask yourself. Determine to know the top people in your field. Now, determine to ask questions. What do they know? What do they do different? What gives them that edge? What made them stand out? Determine the special knowledge and skill they have developed and resolve to develop yourself in that area. Remember, anything that anyone has done within reason, you can do as well. No one is better than you, no matter how smart the person is. The very fact that some people left a particular field and became the best in another field is a good indication that you yourself can become a super best in a particular skill area if you only give your attention to developing in that area. I dare you to practice. Practice will give you the winning edge. When others are playing, give yourself to practice and give everything about it to it. Everyone needs practice. Every soul needs practice in any particular skill area. The young needs practice. The old need practice. The new generation needs practice. Everyone needs practice to get better at a particular thing. In other words, to get the job done fast. Your reward will be in direct proportion to the values of your service to other people. When you gain practice over something, you have an advantage to give your service to something. The more you work, study, develop your ability to contribute more to the lives and well-being of other people, the better your life will be yourself. I have found out that most successful people in every area invariably spend far more time in preparing than the least success they ever had. They keep on giving everything they can to it behind the closed doors. And boom, when the success comes, everyone starts shouting, but they knew how much they have given to it. Someone said it had to be successful, but I saw it this way: it's even harder to be a failure, because the pains of being a failure, it's something way beyond it. Perfect performance comes from painstaking preparation, after weeks, months, years in advance, and no one sees this. Determined to practice in the skill area. Make the decision to make the change. Change is inevitable, it's true. It will always happen. Just choose to go for it. Make the difference. Be flexible on your process of achievement, because you will fail, you will fall, but being flexible will help you up. If you can hear me, you better give your best now to what seems calling for you now to get to work, because you can afford to pay the pains of failure. It is expensive, brothers and sisters. It is expensive. There comes a time you must choose the course you will follow, or the relentless drift of event will make choices for you. You can make it happen now. Don't pay the price when it's difficult. It doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter what position you represent. But here is that: the more you give your best and you keep to practice, you become better and better. And the more you keep improving, this one great factor has helped many in their field areas or in their career areas. You got to, no matter what area you're coming from, no matter what education you have, it does not matter. If you live in a first world country, you end the third world way education, you eventually will be paid the third world wages. And so is the way other way around. There is something spectacular about skill area. The more you dwell on it, the more you concentrate on it every time, it grows and expands in your world. And that one singular act helps you to become more in that area. Before you know it, bam, you are there. And finally, you get to the top of the shot. Now get up, go for it, get the job done.